Welcome to Subramani. Every few years or every year, I get to talk to a lot of students about investing. And obviously, it comes to value investing, etc. And I used to teach in one college near my house, and the paper that I set for them was to say, you watch all my videos, you read all that I've written on my blog, and there's a lot of stuff. And I'll promise you I'll ask questions only from that, because this was a class on personal finance. It's enough to read about equity, value investing, etc. And one question which invariably gets asked wherever I teach is, how do we start investing? The easy answer, of course, is to say, when you start the power of compounding, so when you start investing at 22, it's great. So go and put money in an index fund. That money will do well for you. That is the easy way out, which most of us take. And I tell the kids there, do you realize there is a vested interest in me for telling you to do that? Because by the time I am selling my equities, I need somebody who would be buying the index funds, because I would be selling my index funds. So maybe I have a vested interest in asking you to invest in index funds. So I tell them, my answer has to be different for different students, because somebody who comes from a family where they've not even heard of equity, and I meet many such kids who have come from some I met kids who have seen Economic Times for the first time after they come out of their graduation. While they're doing their MBA, they've seen Economic Times for the first time. And there's some kids who are born with Economic Times coming home, right? So these people have learned the terminology, they've heard it, they've heard their parents speaking about equity, debt, they know those words, whereas many of these kids have not heard of these words except academically. And so their attitude, each person's attitude towards investing would be different. For example, one girl whose father was a carpenter put together a lot of money, whatever money was required for doing their MBA, put it together, took a loan and sent her. And here she she couldn't speak English or all that, but she coped brilliantly, and she's doing very well. This is about 10 years ago. So I meet all kinds of people, so there can't be one single answer. So one good answer to people is to say, create a portfolio, which is create a model portfolio, go to Value Research, go to Money Control, any of these places, and create, or Morningstar, and go and create a portfolio, which imaginary portfolio of 10 lakhs. And I also tell them, imaginary portfolio does not give you the kick of a real portfolio. So go and take an amount of money which you can afford to lose, and start investing, and keep a stop loss, create your own portfolio. The kick that you get out of buying one share of HDFC or one share of Procter and Gamble or one share of Reliance is much different than creating a portfolio with 500 shares of Reliance and 400 shares of HDFC Bank, because that is a imaginary portfolio. Imaginary portfolio also lets you teach, but nothing like putting your own money and learning and losing money, etc. But check out on your own family requirement, right? If you are from a family where every rupee matters, in the sense that every rupee is needed, not that every rupee matters to everybody, right? So there is no talk about that. But if every rupee is important and every rupee matters in the sense that it is needed, right? Your grandmother who's ailing, you're going to pay for your son, your younger brother's education or younger sister's education, right? Then every rupee is important. You may not be able to afford to lose it psychologically. Yes, of course, physically nobody likes to lose money, but psychologically it has a greater impact on the family which needs that money more. However, if you're a son or a daughter of a very successful father and very successful mother, and you have a lot of money, this is a good time to be investing in startups with friends, right? So you go and do a startup. There is no education like the education of life. So you go, you lose money, you learn how to do business, you learn how to recruit, you learn how, when you fight with friends with whom you have started business, how you have to give up and move, or you have to buy out the others, right? You see all kinds of, when you are at my age, you've seen all kinds of experience. So is there a definite great route to start investing? I don't know. But if you are a student who is anyway going to do you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be any other profession other than being in the finance profession, and you're not going to make this your profession, then index fund is not a bad investment for you, right? So then you start putting money in an index fund. Will you learn about investing by putting money in the index fund? Maybe not, but that is not what you want to do, right? So if you don't want to do it as a profession, do you want to do it as a hobby? Do you really enjoy it? Will you really find time for doing it? If you won't find time, if you don't enjoy reading balance sheets, if you don't enjoy, like for example, if somebody told you that here is a ticket which I am giving you to the Berkshire Hathaway meeting, would you be interested? Would you jump at the offer? Would you want to go? Would you want to read books on value investing? Are you the types or are you not the types? I mean, my daughter is doing CA, but I don't know how keen she will be to become a value investor. Can you really make your children value investor? I mean, not just the children whom I am addressing, but my own daughter. I really don't know, but I have taught her value buying by taking her to places like Crawford Market, which allows you to, which shows you the price, value, etc. So I've sat with my daughter, showed her dolls and said, look, every doll has a price, but the question is, have you derived value from it? And that's, hopefully those are all things which will make her into a value investor, because a value investor has to start with frugality. Now frugality can sound like being a miser, but the question is, somewhere you have to draw the line between what you need, what you want, what you will buy at any price, right? What you enjoy buying, and therefore, right? So therefore you will buy, you will go out with friends, you will spend money because you think you're going to remember those remembrances are more important than money. So putting together all this, right? So how much you earn, how much you spend, how much money you have for it doing investing. It should not become an obsession of investing, saying, oh, I will not buy a shoe, I will wear a slipper, I'll save that money and I will compound it. It can sometimes become such an obsession. So the line between putting money in an index fund, learning how to invest, making it your profession, it's not going to be easy for everybody. Not everybody who goes to IIT ends up as an engineer, right? They do their MBA, they come into managing money, right? Some of the best money managers have been from IIT. So and depending on what you want to do further on in life, you get to a combination of all this. Maybe really true that you can afford to take your children to a Berkshire Hathaway meeting, then you take your children to a Berkshire Hathaway meeting just more for fun and picnic rather than is your son or daughter going to learn much from that? Yes, the experience of seeing so many investors in one place, so many people looking at them, and reading their letters is a great start. I'm quite surprised that nobody is doing a live Berkshire Hathaway meeting in India. Just take the telecast, watch it, sit in a group and watching. I mean, many of these things can help you in the road to becoming a good value investor. But of course, it starts with reading. It starts with putting your own money, because the kick of a model portfolio is nothing compared to the kick that you get on your own. You write 200-word articles on every buy that you do. That's not going to be very easy. Not that everybody does it, but I know people who do it. That's a good way to become a good investor. Write down what you're doing. Write a diary. Maintain a diary. Write down why you bought. What is the logic, right? Do all that, and that will help you in your way to becoming a good value investor. There are many roads to becoming a good value investor or a good investor to start with, and then deciding whether you want to be a value investor or a growth or a momentum investor. Definitely reading helps. Watching YouTube videos of Howard Marks or Ken Fisher or any of those people will surely help. Reading helps. Attending some meetings of fund managers will help, but those fund managers meetings are not available for the common man. I don't know why. I don't know why somebody is not doing maybe I'm repeating this, doing a Berkshire Hathaway meeting live session in India, creating for people an opportunity to sit and watch what the big people are saying, right? So I don't know, all these are good steps to becoming a good investing, but yeah, start reading. That is definitely a great first step. Thank you.